Most love stories don't actually show us love. They show us what happens when love goes wrong. They show us obsession, tragedy, the loss of love. Love is illusion. But there are very few books, very rare books, that do show us what love looks like when it's done right. Now, this is a look at great books that show us the range of love, give us a sampling of different kinds of love or corruptions of love, and a deep exploration of love in literature. From its darkest forms, love's evil twins, if you will, to its higher forms, imperfect lovers striving valiantly against the challenges of life and their own character flaws towards the goal, the as yet unreached ideal of love. So here are 5 books that I think really encapsulate love in its various forms in classic literature. Now, first up, what happens when love won't let go? We have to start here because I think this is where a lot of people get confused as to what matters or what is considered a love story. Wuthering Heights is often called one of the greatest love stories ever written. From my view, it's not a love story at all. It's a story about obsession, corrupted love. What happens when love becomes more about possessing something, someone. When you don't just love someone, you can't live without them in an unhealthy way, right? You need them, you consume them, you let them take over, well, everything about you. It's a powerful book, no doubt. It's a lot of people's favorite, and I can see why. It's unforgettable. It's very well written. It's compelling. I think it's a book worth reading. I highly recommend reading it, but it's clearly not something to imitate. This is a great exploration of the all-too-human story of obsession, of love turned inward. Book 1 is Wuthering Heights, a tale of obsession. But, of course, that is not the only form of corrupted love. Indeed, it is not. Humanity's experience is far more diverse than that. And another essential tale of unfortunate love is the tragic lovers, the star-crossed lovers, if you will. The archetypal story of what happens not when obsession or internal factors crush love, but when the world from outside crushes pure, though probably imprudent, love from the outside. And probably the most famous example of this story is, of course, Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. Even if you haven't read this, you've definitely heard of it. It's this love story that's felt on full blast, full intensity. It hits immediately. It's overwhelming, uncompromising, very rushed, tragic in its haste and in its unwise assumptions, which, who can relate to that in love? Haste and unwise assumptions. This is a book that looks at love, or rather a play, that never has time to grow. There's no patience here, no stability, no chance for it to become something lasting, something that will flourish. It's beautiful, perhaps, but it's ultimately doomed from the get-go. So book 2 is Romeo and Juliet, the tale of the doomed lovers. But not every doomed love ends in quick, spirited, hasty destruction like Romeo and Juliet does. What about the love that doesn't end quickly, that lingers, that was built on poor foundations? What about the hidden, ungrounded love that burns slowly and unfolds and then collides harshly with reality? All happy families resemble one another. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Now, there are many novels that explore the unraveling of adulterous affairs, but Anna Karenina might be the most complete novel ever written about complicated love. That's because it shows not just the mixed feelings, which a lot of great novels do, but the real-world consequences. It does not hide from what happens in the world. Choices matter, timing matters. The world, relationships, society, it all matters, and Anna Karenina also shows brilliantly how not all love leads where we think it will. There are unforeseen consequences. Maybe if we were wiser, we would have seen them. And maybe it's also cautions that not all love is worth every cost. Now, Tolstoy famously regretted writing Anna Karenina. He regretted that he made her so compelling as a character and thought maybe he should have made her a repulsive character. And writing Anna Karenina led him into a deep spiritual crisis as well. But for my part, I'm glad he wrote it. I definitely think it's a thought-provoking book, not one that we might consider an ideal example of love, but one worth reading. So book 3, Anna Karenina, The Complications of Love. Now, of course, literature also offers views of love that are less disastrous, perhaps even worthy of emulating. We'll look at a couple of those shortly here. But before we take a look at the last couple of books, here are a few honorable mentions of love stories that are simply fun, that because love can be fun too, right? I have enjoyed these books, and I hope that you might enjoy them as well if you're looking for something lighter and yet fun and adventurous. So first off here, another couple of Shakespeare plays. Shakespeare is not always super deep. He can be fun as well. Much Ado About Nothing gives us wit, banter, back and forth. Oscar Wilde's also great with banter for love stories, tension, the kind of dynamic that feels really alive. On the other hand, you have something like Twelfth Night that gives you the chaos, the mistaken identity, confusion. It's a classic comedy of errors, right? And it has this kind of unexpected tenderness as well to it, which is really beautiful to see. Next, we have The Princess Bride. This is so funny and short. It reminds us that love can be adventurous, humorous, something light but still meaningful. And honestly, it's one of my favorite books as a kid reading, so that one I just had to throw in there. And finally, a popular pick is The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. This is just pure emotional devotion, heartbreaking in its own way as well, simple, direct, very powerful in its heartbreaking nature. But, all of these books and the dark explorations of love and fun escapes, they capture something real, right? Whether we're talking the dark side or the fun side, but they don't really show us love done well, done taken seriously. There are very few books that do this and are still fun and enjoyable and well written. Often they come across sometimes as preachy when you read books like this, and I don't think that's what most people want in their experience of literature. But some come a bit closer, though they require us to look at certain aspects of ourselves that undergird successful love. First, at some point, love becomes a question of character. And that's where a novel like Jane Eyre comes in. It's far from the perfect virtuous love, but it's not a cautionary tale either, right? It's, like some of those earlier novels we explored, it's much more closer to an ideal. Because here, love is no longer just passion. It's about principles and values, and Jane refuses relationships that violate who she is, right? Even though she feels very deeply at times, even though it costs her at times, we get to see love as a value, living healthily amidst other values, not an all-consuming flame of destruction like Anna Karenina or Wuthering Heights, right? That's what makes this book different. Jane Eyre says love isn't just about what you feel, it's about what one is willing to stand for. This book explores who you are when you're in love, and who you are matters. So book 4 here, Jane Eyre, Love and Character. But then finally, as we come to the end here, there are books that show us love and balance, a love deeply inspired by, say, Aristotelian value, virtue ethics, religious sentiment as well, and harmony between love and duty. In a world of, complicated love, there are books like this that can be described in a word as constancy. And possibly the greatest writer who ever showed this balance of philosophy of living a good life and loving well and living with constancy is Jane Austen. Several of her books could fit here. For myself, I like Sense and Sensibility as an example of a well-balanced love. This is where love becomes ordered. It's not cold, right? It's not too cold at all. It's not reckless, though. At least not entirely. There are moments of recklessness, but they don't win out in the end. Emotion and reason held together. It's not about feeling everything. It's about feeling in the right way, feeling in harmony. It's not just a romance, right? It's a story about becoming the kind of person capable of loving properly, right? Honestly, Pride and Prejudice would work really well for this too. I'm just thinking as I'm speaking, both characters really do have to grow and confront their flaw and to become capable of the love that they desire. So they really have to learn to see clearly. And only then does the relationship work. But it's the same in Sense and Sensibility. This is a story where love, feeling, judgment, character, all these things have to align. And the word constancy I used earlier is defined as the quality of being unchanging, unwavering, or steadfast in purpose, loyalty, and or affection. Now, that is what is required from Jane Austen's perspective in order to make love last. I think it's a very interesting word that we don't maybe see so much in the modern world. Alistair MacIntyre famously talked about how she was very much an Aristotelian in one of his books, but that's neither here nor there. What makes Sense and Sensibility different from anything else we've talked about before this is the sense of love and balance. So, in conclusion here, you should read all kinds of love stories to learn about how humans live and love and to grow as a person, of course. But not all love stories are equally desirable, of course, as examples. And the best stories, the best love stories, they don't just show us how we feel in love, they show us how we should act in love and how it can change us for the better if we do. So, I'm curious, of course, what is your favorite love story? I'd love to hear in the comments below. And of course, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you found this valuable. And I'd love to hear from you guys again in the comments below. Hopefully looking forward to seeing you guys around here soon. Take care.